Hello and welcome to this week's Fibro section. Oh, and we're in the garden and the door's going to slam. I thought it's so nice today that I would film in the garden. Saves me getting the ring light out and sorting all that out. So I thought, why not? We'll sit in the garden, and Evie's just come behind me, don't you, Eve? You could just about see her ears over the top. Right, so here is the trusty notepad. Now before I start, I have to tell you that if there are any background noises, trains, we have a train line not far away, doors banging, I apologise, like that one that's going to do now. Hello Eves, where are you gone? So this week I'm talking about food. Now I've done one on diet, and someone asked me to make a fibro section about food. Sorry if I'm squinting, but the sun's really bright, and I thought if I put my sunglasses on, you're not going to be able to see my eyes, so squint away I will. Right, food. Eating whole foods and avoiding, oh no, it's a big word, excitotoxins. Right, I'm going to put it on the screen anyway, and you can work out whether I'm right or not. May ease fibro symptoms. Good nutrition can help take the edge off symptoms and reduce pain. Excitotoxins are chemicals that excite neurons in the brain and that can be toxic if consumed in excess. The most common forms are found in food additives used to enhance or sweeten food. Research shows that eliminating excitotoxic additives reduced fibro symptoms. It'd be nice, Eve. Eve's gone to see Alice. In a study in 2012, fibro patients ate a diet which was free from MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, and aspartame for 4 weeks. Most said that more than 30% of their symptoms had improved. Food that contains MSG includes Chinese foods, canned soups and vegetables, some types of chips or snacks and processed meats. To avoid MSG and aspartame, check labels on food or ask if getting a takeaway or in a restaurant. Steer clear of processed foods. They have more additives and less fibre than whole foods. Refined carbohydrates such as white flour, white pasta and white rice have been stripped of nutrients that occur naturally. Choose whole grains or have a sweet potato instead of bread, pasta or rice. If you buy meat, avoid processed products with added salt and preservatives or meat that have been smoked or cured. This can include canned meat, sausage, bacon, hot dogs, ham, deli meat, corned beef and beef jerky. There's a long list, isn't there? I sometimes think, is there actually anything we're allowed to eat, you know? Nah. Vitamin D deficiency can increase pain with fibro. So you can get this vitamin from eating swordfish. Now, I've never had swordfish in my life. Leave me a comment down below if you've had swordfish, because I haven't. Tuna, salmon, eggs, orange juice and milk, and I love all of those apart from the fact that I've never had swordfish, but I do really like fish, so I probably would like it. Magnesium citrate may reduce symptoms of fibro. It is found in many healthy foods including dried beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, avocado, yogurt, bananas, fatty fish, dark chocolate and dark leafy greens. Right, I mentioned the word avocado. I've tried avocado. I find it the blandest tasting thing ever. I tried it on toast with egg. I didn't like it. I've tried it in a salad. I didn't like it. I just find it's just mush. It's mush and it's bland. So if anyone has any suggestions on how I can enjoy avocado, please comment below, because I know they're so good for you. Read labels on packaged foods, and if the ingredients list is too long on the packet, put it back on the shelf. Don't even go there. Avoid artificial sweeteners and limit sugar. Sweeteners such as aspartame, saccharin and sucralose. Now I do have a sweetener in my cup of tea, and I tried to cut it out. I really did. My mum even tried with me because she has a sweetener in her tea too, and we tried to do it together, but I just didn't enjoy it. I really didn't enjoy it. And maybe a lot of people are saying, well, have a sugar is better than having a sweetener, but I have a sweetener that is like a special one that hasn't got aspartame and all that stuff in. I make sure that it's all clear of all that. If you need to sweeten food, use a little honey, but I suppose you could put honey in your tea, but I don't think it would taste very nice. As you cut back on sugar, you will taste sweetness in food more easily. Now, sugar is my nemesis, and I don't think I can easily give it up. And it's hard to give sugar up because sugar's in everything. There's so much food that sugar is in. Now, natural sugars, you're all right, like in fruits and things. I think they're talking about, artificial sugar. And I try to avoid it as much as possible. But chocolate, chocolate. Foods that may trigger symptoms are gluten, red meat, fruits and vegetables in the nightshade family, such as tomatoes, white potatoes, green peppers and goji berries. Never had a goji berry in my life. Comment down below if you've had a goji berry. Dairy products, eggs and caffeine. So one point they're saying eat eggs, the next point they're saying don't eat eggs. So where did they say eat eggs? Vitamin D. Vitamin D is found, I think that's Evie behind the bar, ordering herself a drink. Vitamin D is found in eggs, but now it's saying that it may trigger symptoms. I mean, what do you believe? I don't know. I don't know. I think, bear with, and I'll get to this in a minute. Here, it's right here. So keep a food log to track symptoms when eliminating a food to see if it helps or not. And that's exactly what I was waiting for, because I was just going to say, eat an egg or eat 2 eggs, whatever you eat, track like a few hours later if it's affected, if your fibro symptoms have got worse, if your IBS has got worse, track it all. And do it not just once, but do it for quite a few weeks to see if there's any difference. And do that, I'm not just saying eggs, I'm saying any type of food that you think, does that make my fibro symptoms worse? Track it, always track it. And that's when you can see whether they make a difference or not. If there is no difference in your food log, then you know that food's okay to eat probably. You can also get food allergy or intolerance tests from your GP. I've had a food allergy tests from my GP, and they said there's only so many they could do. There was tomatoes, dairy, I can't remember. It was listed there was some really random ones, what there was, and all mine came back negative. And you can get some, I know, on the internet, like some food allergy tests, like for gluten and all that sort of thing. I don't know if I trust them all 100%, because I feel even if they come back negative, you could still have that intolerance in your body, but it's not picking it up through a blood test or whatever it is. So I think the safest way, in my opinion, is to journal and track it, because that's the only way you're going to see what affects you. Definitely ask your GP for more advice on that. I know they have to go down the medical route, but they might be able to help you further by sending you to a nutritionist or something. So definitely go and speak to your GP on that one. On top of that was Alice's door, sorry. On top of fibro, most of us have IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, which affects what we can and can't eat as well. And I'm going to attach for you, I have made a video on IBS, funnily enough, and I'm going to attach that for you on there. So go check that out afterwards if you haven't seen it already. And in that video, I discuss about low FODMAP diet and that's the one that I stick to mainly, as it seems to be the best one for my IBS. So yeah, go and check out on my IBS video later what the low FODMAP's about, and then maybe do a bit more research into it, because if you just Google it, it will come up with a list of low FODMAP foods to eat and high FODMAP foods to avoid. And what I did when I first started it was I wrote a column of foods I can have, a column of foods I can't have, and I stuck it to my fridge, so that every time I went to eat something, I checked that, and I was like, right, can I have that, can I not, you know, and that's the best way to go about it. But if you suffer with bad IBS, I would so recommend the low FODMAP diet, really recommend it. And I thought the advice was to eat 5 pieces of fruit or vegetables a day. No, not anymore. It's now between 8 or 9 pieces of fruit or vegetables a day. A day. That's not going to happen with me, I'm afraid. And if you think about it, on a lot of the diets for IBS, they say don't try to avoid eating too many vegetables and fruit, because that sugar, which is the FODMAP, can aggravate your stomach. So Holly eats so much fruit and vegetables in a day. She definitely does 8 or 9, definitely. But I couldn't do that. I'd be crippled if I tried to do that, like crippled in pain. Broccoli and berries are supposed to be good, but on the low FODMAP diet, fruit and veg, like I say, is quite restricted, and I know you're only allowed 1 small cup of broccoli per portion, so I really try to make sure that I don't have too much. Incorporating herbs and spices to your cooking, especially turmeric, bay leaves and cinnamon, among many others, contain antioxidants which may help to reduce inflammation. Dairy can be tricky. Again, on my FODMAP diet, I don't have much dairy at all. I use Arla milk, if you've heard of that, which is lactose free. I cannot eat dairy yogurt because that makes me feel utterly sick. I can tolerate cream, I can tolerate custard, but I can't tolerate like big other milk. It's weird, isn't it? There's certain milk products I can tolerate, there's others I can't. Again, if you did a journal or a tracking log, that would show you, wouldn't it? So let's face it, what they're saying is basically cook fresh, wholesome ingredients with every meal. But that's not always possible with fibro, is it? You know, if you're in a flare or if you're having a bad pain day, the last thing you're going to want to do is stand and cook from fresh. That's the last thing you want. So you just grab whatever's easiest. And I feel that sometimes that's where things can go wrong. So this is my advice. If you're wanting to do this, either get help from somebody, friend, family, whatever, and batch cook and freeze portions. And that's Holly batch cooks her lunches for her performing arts college, because she has to eat really healthily. So she batch cooks a load of it and then freezes it and just brings out a tub the night before and takes it to college. And that's what we could do. So if we had the help to batch cook in the first place, use your slow cooker. Slow cookers are the best. And if you find you can't wash it up, use one of the liners that you just throw in the bin. I know it's extra plastic, but it helps your body when you're in a flare or you're having pain. But definitely do that. Invest in some Tupperware, put it all in, get some labels, label it up with what it is and when you made it, put it in the freezer, and then you can just get one out each morning or the night before, and then all you've got to do is bung it in the microwave. And that's quite easy, isn't it? And just eat it. So if you're really interested in following the wholesome, healthy cooking side of it, that's my advice. I should do that. I'll tell you what we do actually. What I tend to do is if we cook like a dinner the night before and we've got too much left over, I either freeze it or put it in the fridge for the next day and I have it for my lunch. So that way I'm still getting a wholesome, healthy meal, but without having to do anything. So that's good advice, or you could cook over the amount you need. I mean, if we can be good with our eating the majority of the time, it should help our symptoms. It should go to help your pain and your fatigue. But don't beat yourself up mentally about it if you can't do it. Because everybody's different. Everybody's in a different situation. And like I say, if you can get help, I'm going to have to prop that door open a minute. If you can get help and ask for help, ask someone, you can make a fun thing of it, like when you're allowed people in your house again. It's not too long actually, is it? Not too far away. I think it's May. You can have people in your house, so you maybe ring one of your friends up and say, how do you fancy having like a cooking session? You know, we could share a bottle of wine, unless you can't drink, and just have a massive cooking session, cook up all batches, explain what you're doing and freeze it all and label it. That's if you've got the freezer space. Personally, I haven't, because I've got 5 people in my house that need freezer space. But if you have less people and you've got that space, then go for it. So there are many different diets out there. You've probably heard of a lot of them. There's low histamine diet, there's the FODMAP diet, there's a lot. So if you fancy me covering like one of those diets, say low histamine or whatever, in more detail of what it's about and how it could help us, let me know in the comments below. I have listed it in future fibro sections to do, but I'd just be interested if you would be interested in me making it, you know. So for the next couple of weeks with the fibro sections, I'm going to shake things up a little bit. Someone's requested that I make another morning routine, so I think I'm going to make one of those because we've got Easter coming up, and over Easter I don't want to have to be doing loads and loads of filming and editing. So before then I think I'm going to film, edit and get out the way, you know, so they're ready to upload for you guys. So yeah, I think I'm going to be doing a morning routine, an updated one, because I've got a bobble on my cardigan. I have made a morning routine already, but I'm going to make an updated one. And also next week, because from Monday next week, I believe it's the 29th of March, in England, we're allowed to meet up outside, I think it's 6 or something like that, in gardens as well. So I am going to my mum and dad's garden. I might be taking Poppy with me, and I thought I might interview them about fibro, how it's affected us, what they think about it. I thought it would be really interesting for you and for me to get someone else's perspective on it all. So yeah, that would be quite nice, because it's just something a bit different, isn't it? So that's something to look forward to for the next 2 weeks. Hope you've enjoyed this week. Hope you've learnt something from it, or you know, you've gained a bit of knowledge, because remember, knowledge is power. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up for me. Drop me the comments on all those things that I've been asking you throughout. I'm going to go and pop open that door before it bangs again. On cue. And I will see you on Saturday for the weekly. Poor Alice. Love you lots. Bye.